Mark Nagy with TDOT, who we've been talking to, who's been keeping us up to date with everything that is going on with our roads and interstates. And Mark, first of all, had a busy weekend last week, and I know a lot of TDOT guys have been in Middle Tennessee. Let's start there with how that's been going, getting them underway.
So we're always willing and able to help around the state. Think about how many crews, TDOT crews from Memphis, Jackson, Chattanooga, Nashville, were able to help us here in East Tennessee during Hurricane Helene. So we are more than happy to return the favor. We've had some of our crews working in Region 3, Nashville, and Region 4, Memphis, Jackson. Some of those crews are coming back to East Tennessee today, and they'll be on the job here in our region to assist during this latest winter weather event.
Now, as far as this goes, any big difference in preparations where this one we're more talking about accumulations of snow other than the rain to ice and everything in between that we got last week?
Yeah, the big difference is that you're not going to see very many of our TDOT crews out on the roadways pre-treating because we already have so much salt on the roadways. Those residuals are sticking around, and we don't anticipate a lot of rain before this winter weather event. So we're able to keep that salt on the roadways. Our crews will end up working tonight and into the morning hours tomorrow, and as long as necessary during this winter weather event. The key here is it looks like we're not going to get a lot of freezing rain or ice. And that makes our jobs a lot easier because we would much rather have 10 inches of snow than we would to have a tenth of an inch of ice.
Oh, definitely. And then is there any worry, we've talked about Sunday still going to be, lingering cold as we move over. So this isn't really just hey, don't worry about it, stay home tonight and then you're fine Saturday morning, especially those back roads and things like that. But it's really a multi-day thing we're dealing with.
Correct. With the temperatures being as low as they are, the possibility of having some refreezing, some patches of snow and ice on the roadways increases. Remember, when temperatures are 16 degrees or lower, that really does limit the effectiveness of our supply. So our crews will be able to push all that snow, that slush off of the roadways, but if there's any precipitation that sticks on there, the possibility of having some of that freezing areas on the roadways, patches of snow and ice, does increase. So understand that when you're going to be driving, especially overnight, early morning hours, you might see some black ice out there.
I know you saw on Twitter you were talking about some of the potholes that you guys are out there kind of temporarily patching. What makes East Tennessee, maybe the statewide in general, so difficult to attack from a Department of Transportation perspective of we get the snow, we get the heat in the summer, we kind of get everything that people in the South only get one and people in the North kind of only get the other?
So this is a time of year when you see a lot of potholes on our transportation network because you have this freezing and thawing cycle, and those cracks that end up on the roadway will expand when you get vehicles going over these areas time and time again and more precipitation. So that's why our TDOT crews, the same folks that are treating these roadways and plowing and salting, will be on the roadways patching potholes. The problem is that this is the time of year when most of these patches are going to be temporary because we don't have as much access to hot asphalt. So until we get into the spring and the summer, when those asphalt plants are readily open, then and only then will you have our long-term major resurfacing projects take place, and that's when you get a more permanent patch for any of these potholes you see on our roads.
As far as the salt, so is it really just a salt application that kind of is the go-to for this, or does the brine work as well since we're not getting the rain that would we talk about, that can be washed away, things like that, not seeing that this time around. So do you attack it with both this time?
Brine if necessary, but right now it looks like a lot of what we're going to be doing is laying down salt. So when that snow starts to fall, you'll see our crews out there salting these roadways in efforts to keep that snow from melting on the roadways. And then if you end up with some slush because of that, crews will plow that off into the shoulder.
One question I've always been curious about with all the TDOT crews, like, are these guys, you have to love this, I would guess, to be able to go, hey, you know what, snow's coming this weekend, that's really when I go to work. What is that like working with these guys who, when everyone else is told to stay home, they're like, no, these are the guys that go out just to make sure you can get out in a day or two?
Our TDOT folks, the men and women who work on these roadways, they're the best in the business. It's extremely important work that they do, and it has been dangerous work that they do. They take a lot of pride in these jobs to be able to keep these roadways open, because we're trying to make sure these roadways are open for emergency personnel to get where they need to be, to make sure that after the after the storm, that people are able to get onto the roadways, to get to and from their destinations, to school, to work, to worship, whatever it may be. So it is long hours that our crews work, and they'll stay on the job as long as necessary.
And finally for you, Mark, your kind of last call to people before we get into the evening. I know on Twitter you were saying try to stay off the roads tonight. Anything else you'd like to add?
I mean, those are the biggies, because if you can wait a few hours or a day to go to the supermarket or visit a friend, whatever it may be, and you can stay off the roads, please do that, because that allows our crews to have that extra room they need to do their jobs efficiently. With fewer cars on the roadway, they're able to probably do their work a lot quicker. And the most important thing is for safety. That not only keeps our crews safe, but keeps motorists safe as well. So if you don't have to be on the roadways, stay off the roadways. If you do have to drive, make sure you give our crews lots of room. Move into another lane. If you end up passing a truck and then have to get back into another lane, give yourself a lot of extra room. The last thing our crews should be worried about is other motorists getting too close to them.
All right. Be prepared tonight. Have those road bags handy, any emergency kits in case you do have to get out. But like you heard there from Mark, please stay off the roads if you can. Mark, I very much appreciate it. Know you're busy, especially as we get closer to the weekend. So thank you so much, and good luck to you and the TDOT team this weekend.
Thanks, Harry. Great talking to you.
Great talk to you, Mark. All right, Mark Nagy with TDOT there. Be safe this weekend. Remember, we got more coming up at noon, 3:30, 4, 5, 6, 10, and 11 on WVLT News. Make sure you download that free WVLT News app. Scan it right now on your phone. Also, the WVLT First Alert Weather app. Spencer, the rest of our team can send any breaking news, weather alerts right to the palm of your hand so you can stay prepared as this storm gets closer as we move into the evening. I'm Harry Sullivan in the WVLT Newsroom. We'll see you back live on WVLT News at noon. Have a good Friday.